Hello and welcome to the Customer 360 with Denodo Professional Demo. My name is Paul Markson. I'm the Senior Vice President of Data Architectures here at Denodo. And in this short video, I'm going to demonstrate how easy it is to use Denodo Professional to connect to your customer data. Whether this data is in applications such as Salesforce or ServiceNow, whether it's in databases, whether it's even in Excel spreadsheets, it's very quick and easy to connect to that customer data, create this unified view of all of that data, a customer 360 view, and then use that data, that combined data, to quickly respond to questions coming from the business about the engagement, the state of those customers. Now, most organizations have their customer data in different applications, different files. Sometimes they use different identifiers to actually access that data as well. In our particular case, we're going to look at customer data that is in Salesforce. This is the contacts data that we have in Salesforce. And you can see that on the screen. So this is our instance of Salesforce with all of our customer data. And we've got something like 36,000 customers in Salesforce that we're going to be able to access. We've also got data in an Excel spreadsheet. This is data come from the marketing team, which shows the score, the value, the importance of a particular customer. You can see that on the screen now. This is simply a list of customer email addresses and some sort of score ranging from 1 to 100. And the increasing scores show their increasing value to the organization. We consider anything with a score of 75 and above to be a high value customer, a VIP customer effectively. And then finally, we also have customer data in ServiceNow. And this actually shows the open support tickets, the incidents as they're called within ServiceNow, that the customers open because they've got some problems with a service or a product that they've given to us. So we have customer data in all of these different locations. Now, traditionally, people would integrate this data probably by exporting the data from running a report in Salesforce, exporting the data into an Excel spreadsheet, exporting the data from ServiceNow, and then copying and pasting from one spreadsheet to a master spreadsheet, and then using some calculations and some lookup values to integrate the data together to give you those insights. And this is a process that you want to do every time that you need to get a report or insight into those customers. So it could be weekly, it could even be daily that you're going through this process. And every time you want a fresh look at the customer data, you'd have to go through this manual process all over again. We're going to do this once. We're going to do it in just a few minutes using the Denodo Professional platform running up on the cloud. And with this, we're going to be able to answer insights, business questions such as which VIP, which of our high value customers have actually got open support cases, or important things like which high value customers have got high priority support cases that haven't been updated for a month or more. This is obviously a poor experience for those customers. And because they're high value customers, we may want them to go and do some outreach campaign, contacting those customers, assuring them that we're looking at their problem, maybe compensating them in some way or something like that. So these are important business questions that you need to have this single view, this customer 360 view. So in the demo, what we're going to do is we're going to connect to our 3 data sources. We're going to connect to the applications files we talked about. We're going to connect to Salesforce, and we're going to create a view within Denodo Professional on top of the contacts data. That's what it's called in Salesforce. This is our customer data. We're going to connect to that Excel spreadsheet, and we're going to create a view containing those customer scores, the email addresses and the corresponding value scores that marketing assigned to these customers. Then we're going to connect to ServiceNow, and we're going to create a view on top of those support tickets, the incidents. And then we're going to combine that data. So we can see the customer data, the value of that customer, how important, how high a value they are to the organization, to the business, and also whether they've got any open support tickets. So we can have that insight to help us address the type of questions that I mentioned before. Which customers, which high priority customers have got open support cases? Which high priority customers have got, which important customers have got high priority support cases that haven't been updated for the last 30 days? That's the type of thing that we want to address. So with that brief introduction, let's go and have a look at Denodo Professional. This is the typical environment you'd get when you take out a subscription for the Denodo Professional. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to log into Design Studio, which is where we will actually go and build those connections to our data sources and build that customer 360 view. So I will just log into this browser-based tool. There we go. So this is the basic tool. This is exactly what the tool would look like. If you take out a subscription, there's nothing here. We're going to build everything from scratch. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to show some good hygiene, some good discipline, and I'm actually going to go and create a new virtual database for our customer 360 project. This is basically creating a sort of container where we can keep all of our artifacts. And within this customer 360 database, I'm actually going to create some folders. The folders just allow us to organize our artifacts nicely so that it's a nice, clean environment and we can easily find things. It's good for maintenance purposes. So I'm just going to create 3 folders. The first one is where I'm going to create the connections to the actual applications and file. The second one is where I'm going to build those views of that contact data, the incident data in ServiceNow, and the marketing scores within from that Excel spreadsheet. And this last one is where I'm going to build my customer 360 view. This is the business views. This is the one that people will access when they want to get to that customer data. So with that good hygiene, good maintenance, good practices out of the way, let's start connecting to those data sources. And we'll start off by connecting to Salesforce. So I'm going to create a new data source and I'm going to say Salesforce. I'm going to give it a name. I'm going to call it Salesforce. Why not? Now then, Salesforce allows you to connect to it in 2 ways. You can connect using username and password, but Salesforce themselves say, we prefer you to use OAuth as the authentication mechanism. And that's what I'm going to do. It's a bit more complex, but it is a much more secure, much more reliable connection to Salesforce. And it's always the recommended way of doing it. Now then, first of all, I've got to go and get my client identifier and paste that into here. These are things that your Salesforce administrator would be able to provide you with. And that's those in there. Now then, that's the easy bit, because I asked the Salesforce administrator for that and they can provide you with these things. Now I'm going to launch a wizard to help me walk through the OAuth steps to get the OAuth credentials that I can use when I connect to Salesforce. And this is very, very easy. You basically go through these various steps and just follow the workflow. So I'm going to generate the authorization URL. If I say open that, I will then go and connect to Salesforce. You can see I'm actually connecting to Salesforce here. And I simply get this reply URL and I go and copy and paste that into here. And then using that, I can go and get my OAuth credentials, and that's it. It was as easy as that. Once I have that client identifier and secret, everything else is very, very straightforward and easy to do. You saw me logging into Salesforce, getting everything. Now I have got the connection to Salesforce. I will save this. And now I can create base views. Base views are just views within Denodo Professional onto Salesforce, which allows us to get the data objects from Salesforce in real time. And in this case, I only, we have hundreds of objects that you can create. I only want to create one for the sake of this demo, and that is contact. And I'm going to prefix that with BV underscore, just so we know it's a base view. And I'm going to say create selected. And that gives us a view onto the contact customer data within Salesforce. And if I quickly run a query against this, this is Denodo Professional going and getting the data from Salesforce, returning me this customer data in real time. And you can see we have a lot of customer fields here, addresses, email addresses, everything like that. More than we actually need for our demo, but we'll just leave it as it is for the time being. Okay, so we've connected to Salesforce and we've built that contact view. I'm going to move that into the base views folder to be nice and tidy. Next, we're going to connect to the Excel spreadsheet. So again, I say I want to create a new data source, and this time I select Excel. I'm going to give it a name. We said this will be marketing scores. I'm going to say it's local, which means it's on the local machine, the local to where Denodo Professional is running. And we'll go and pick the file that we need. And I know it's in Ubuntu, data, marketing scores, and there we are, customer marketing scores spreadsheet. Select that. I know my file has got headers, and I'm going to save that. And that's it. We've got a connection to our Excel spreadsheet. I'll create a base view so that we can go and access the data. And you can see this is the base view, the email and the scores. And if I go and run a query, you can see I read the emails and the scores from the Excel spreadsheet. So that's it. We've connected to two of the data sources. I'm going to pull this down into the base views folder like that. So the third data source we have is actually ServiceNow. Now, within Denodo Professional, there are accelerators which make it easy to build that connection and the base views for ServiceNow. It semi-automates this. All you need to do is edit a properties file to put in the credentials and the location of your ServiceNow instance. And once you've done that, you can actually import this accelerator. You'll see me doing this now. I'm going to import the SQL file, which is going to create all of the connection and the views on ServiceNow. And I'm then going to go and use also the properties file, which contains the location of my ServiceNow instance and the URL for it and the credentials I want to use when I'm connecting to ServiceNow. And if I click on OK now, this will actually go away and import that accelerator. And there it is, it's finished. And if I close that, do a quick refresh, and on the left-hand side in the Explorer bar, you will now see that there is a ServiceNow database that's been created, and it's got incident base view. So if I click on the base view for instance, I can run a query. And this is now retrieving the incident support case information directly from ServiceNow in real time. And you can see we've got this, the incident data, and the customer is the caller. This is who the customer is. So very simply, very quickly, we've connected to our data sources, to Salesforce, to the Excel spreadsheet. We use that accelerator to connect to ServiceNow, and we've created the base views. Now let's go and create that customer 360 view by joining this data together. So I'm going to select new, join, and I'm going to get my customer data from Salesforce, and I want to join that with the marketing score. So I can assign a marketing score to each of my customers that are in Salesforce. So I simply drag the arrow across to there. And remember, the marketing scores uses email as the key. So I find email in my customer data from Salesforce and just drag that across. And that creates that join condition. The email address for our customers equals the email address in the marketing spreadsheet. So that's joined that information. Now I want to add the incident information from ServiceNow. Again, I just drag the line, the pointer across to create the join between the contact, the customer data, and the incident data. Now, in this case, the key for the incident data in ServiceNow is the customer name. So I've got the customer name from Salesforce, and I'm going to copy it across to caller in ServiceNow. I'm also going to change the inner join to a left outer join. I simply do this because I've got customers who don't have support cases. I want to keep those in the results that I get back, as well as the customers with support cases. So I do a left outer join. Last thing I want to do is just tidy up the output, sorry. There's lots of information here that we don't need for this particular analysis. So I'm going to delete some of it. I'm going to uncheck the ones that I want to keep, such as first name, last name. I'll keep their mailing details, so mailing, street, city, state, postcode, country. We'll keep their phone, we'll keep their mobile phone, we'll keep their email address. We will keep the marketing score, so we know how valuable they are. And then we'll keep all of the incident data. We'll get rid of everything else because it's clutter and it's stuff we don't really need. Right, so if I remove everything that's still checked, I get a much smaller view of my data. And I'm going to call this customer 360. I'm going to save that. And there we have the customer 360. Now, if I run a query against this, we should see the combined data. I'm going to pick, actually, no, just 150. That will probably do it. Okay, so you now see the customer data. If I pull this along here, you see their score from the marketing spreadsheet. And you see the incident or support case data. Now, this is all null because these customers don't actually have any open support cases. So let's run that query again, and let's actually retrieve 1,000 rows of data. Run it again. There we get the results. And now let's have a look for customers who, there we are, have got some support cases. Oh, I saw some just then. There we are. We've got some customers here. Letitia Hamilton, Amy Moses, Brunilda Sharp. And you can see here that we've got customers with support cases. So this is actually the results that we can now use for the analysis to answer those questions. So this is our customer 360 view. So just to answer those two simple questions that we have, I'm going to go and do this just by writing a simple query. Normally, what you would go and do is you would go and use a dashboard tool like Power BI, or even go and connect Excel to Excel spreadsheet to Denodo Professional and access the data. I'm just going to show you very simply running a couple of queries. So first of all, let's have a look at which customers actually have, which VIP customers actually have open support cases. So we're going to get the customer details with their score, the number of the support case number, where their score is 75 or greater, and they actually have support cases, open support cases. So let's run this query and see what we get back. And here we get the answer. Let me just pull this up a bit so we can see it. And you can see that we've got customers, Amy Moses, Letitia Hamilton, we saw before, Joseph Riley, Zachariah Parsons, and you can see the actual open support case details here. So Letitia Hamilton has got 3 different support cases that are open. She's a very, very high value customer, score of 97 out of 100. So that's a good insight, but we can actually improve that insight and actually just give us a simple list telling us how many open support cases each of these VIPs have got, the ones with open support cases. And again, this is just running a very simple query again. Normally, like I say, you would do this in something like Power BI. But this actually now gives a slightly shorter list, but you can see that this time it's Letitia Hamilton, score of 97. She's got 3 open support cases there, the 3 that we saw before. The last business question we'll answer is a very important one. Let's clear that. And this query is, give me a list of the customers, the high priority, the high value, the VIP customers, so their score is over 75, that have got a priority 1 support case that hasn't been updated for 30 days. So these are the customers who've got high value customers, they've got high priority support cases, but we haven't done anything, we haven't interacted with them, we haven't solved their problem for 30 days. These are customers we are at risk of losing. So if I execute this query, we'll go away and we should see that we've got hopefully a small list there. We are a list of 3 customers, and you can see Letitia Hamilton with a score of 97. She's got a high priority, a priority 1 support case, number 55, which hasn't been refreshed or updated for 30 days. So this is the stage we'd do some sort of outreach, have a customer services manager or an executive reach out to the customer and apologize and try and help them, maybe compensate them in some way. So a campaign of outreach would go there. So that's it. That's what we've got for the demo. Hopefully that showed you how quick and easy it is to use Denodo Professional to connect to your customer data, combine it, and then allow you to answer questions coming from the business about those customers. This is not about the technology of how to connect. It's about answering those business questions, giving your decision makers the insights they need on customers. And if you're interested in trying this out yourself, you can do a 30-day free trial. You go to the Denodo website and you could sign up for a 30-day free trial on the Google Cloud, the Microsoft Azure Cloud, or the AWS Cloud. A couple of clicks and you're up and running. And with that, I'd just like to thank you for watching this. I hope you found it informative. I hope you found it useful. And if you are interested, do try out that free trial. Thank you.